in my own ecosphere. If every time you speak you keep it off the record, consequently you can keep your record clear. And if you mute the speech that shakes your frail beliefs, you only seek to insulate your image and continue down the stream in the direction clout and credit steers. Directly from your mouth into am I the asshole Reddit's ears. Directly back into the greasy pockets of some Gates Foundation financiers. And then directly back into the frantic final thoughts of early trial Neuralink volunteers, staring at the numb and mumbling vacancies where recently had been their peers. Half of whom are glitching with the memory stuck on pause, and half have zero fucking clue just who they are or why they're here. It's been said that fear is all we have to fear, but that was back before the basosphere condenser came along, distilling concentrated fear that's diamond pure, crystal clear, oppressor strong, and woven into every single article you read and song they let you hear. And then Elon heard that Jeff enhanced our fears by 86%, and he said, hold my beer. And not a single sheep among the herd would turn their head or say a word, cause they were all too busy begging for the shears, begging for the muzzle, happy just to guzzle, feed, and watch a screen for all their years. Man, to each his own, can't afford a home, but they'll let you have your cozy little ecosphere, where there among your own devices you can break the seventh seal, overthrow the oracles and slay the seer. All the tomes were burned and all the lips were seared. Shut your eyes and all our lives just disappear. Now blink 'em twice. Welcome to your ecosphere.
They'll gladly pay you by the hour for a minute or so, so you can sign off on the towers where they'll piss on your home. And if you feel like you're just powerless to answer them no, it's 'cause you are. They'll gladly pay you by the hour for a minute or so, so you can sign off on the towers where they'll piss on your home. And if you feel like you're just powerless to answer them no, it's 'cause you are. It's 'cause you are. They'll gladly stagnate a living wage, snap the chains and bury it. Labor slaves in rusty cages dragged behind a chariot, led by Mr. Racial Jungle, Joseph R. Iscariot, fighting over scraps as they barrage us all with variants and BuzzFeed clickbait, straight until we're paralyzed, trying to distract us from the concentration camps that Joe had swore he'd close but only chose to amplify, where they got 50-something kids in cages made for 5 to occupy. And no, she hasn't seen the camps, but Harris swears they're paradise. She tells us the facilities are safe, and that right down to the women, they are regularly sterilized. Then she throws her head back and she proceeds to laugh, that sort of heartless cackle you'd expect from someone working steadfastly on behalf of the virus and a Congress full of parasites. And where was I? I was busy cashing every blue check, demonstrating plainly all the narratives expected from the verified. I was busy breeding verbal leeches by the terabyte. Train them to exsanguinate the wealthy while they sleep at night. Bleed the oil barons dry and barren, say they showed us how to share and now we share alike. Tell them I contracted rabies from a feral mic. Now I'm just another species losing sleep to noise pollution and these glaring lights, forced to change its habits and adapt to just survive. But now it's safe to say that some of us are thriving in the moment, throwing shit on presidential homes beneath the Paris skies. So if you feel like you're just powerless, I guess you bought the lie. But I can tell they're petrified of our collective might, 'cause I can hear those gentrifiers weeping at the sight of our collective rights. And I only can imagine the intensifying fear of knowing revolution's near, and all that's left to do is simply wallow in the thick anticipation of a rabid bite. And baby, one day you can ask your leaders just what that was like before you grab a slice. So if you think you're powerless, allow me now to change your mind. Honey, if you think you're powerless, allow me now to change your mind. See, they'll pay you hourly, tax them each apart, and build a shining tower out of loopholes and cards, and tell you that you're powerless to keep you in the dark, because you aren't, because we aren't. You see, they'll pay you hourly, tax them each apart, and make you build a shining tower out of loopholes and cards, where they'll tell you that you're powerless to keep you in the dark, because you aren't, because we aren't.
Legend says that Hercules swept Cerberus right off his feet and effortlessly set him down softly as a songbird. Atlas kept the world upon his back and every day wondered whether he could stand it any longer. And Tara Reid came out to say the man they tried to label the messiah of morality was really just another rapist. And I don't intend to hesitate when asked who was the stronger. Tara, like Assange, knew that carrying the truth would be the hardest labor. Tara knew that her assailant wasn't gonna make us any safer, and knew he's just the type of man to hand a decent foreign leader US-printed walking papers, and knew he'd be relentless and aggressive in the war he'd wage upon her very character, that his attempts to weaken and degrade and embarrass her would be her only compensation. But I strongly doubt that anyone could ever have foreseen the stream of hate that came from quote-unquote progressives and the self-styled titans of survivor advocation. So if you really think there's something to be gained out of sharing your pain with the world, you are sorely mistaken. The Biden team just dragged their feet addressing Tara's allegations. Until they had a decent list of smears, then they aired them out on every station. And it turns out no one wants to hear the truth of who they praised as being worthy of such bloated liberal celebration. That no one wants to really know the person they've so valiantly defended, even when it meant they had to gloat and shit all over someone braver than they'd be if given the occasion. Now cue the faceless comment squad invasion. Cue those fuckers crawling out the woodwork to come analyze the way you wore your hair and what you wear. Like your appearance waives your rights, or that somehow you're the reason for your situation. Somehow they've decided you should bear responsibility for what such monstrous men insist on doing. Somehow they're deluded by the empty, hypocritical, and useless fucking platitudes that bastard keeps on spewing. And I think it's very telling that the best of their excuses when they try to come and justify our president's abuses is a hearty butt Trump. In which case I'll remind you that you never saw the news attempt to sell us Donald Trump like he was morally upstanding or a decent human. But when Joe says something bigoted or ogles someone's little kid, CNN says, isn't this refreshing? Biden's like a mix of JFK and FDR with all the finer parts of Harry Truman. Christ, I know that they don't think that we're the brightest, but at least pretend we got a couple lumens. Ask yourself if you have ever questioned what they fed you, or do you just shut your eyes and then consume it? And now ask yourself if you ate every one of Biden's lies under guise of harm reduction and the promise of a slight improvement. And now imagine long ago that Biden chose to show you who he really was by traumatizing you for his amusement. Now imagine that you watched him touch a Bible with those filthy hands, and then assume the power of the highest seat in all the land, of knowing your attacker wields a global coalition born of 3-letter agencies who'll make a life's mission out of trying to discredit you through lies, damn lies, and collusion. Big tech is never gonna separate from our surveillance state. Fuck's sakes, they're just a breath away from total fusion. So there will come a time where even if you see the light, your voice will never reach the sky through all the bots and all the noise pollution. So trust us when we tell you that the masking of abuses is perhaps this country's oldest institution. And I know nothing nobler than facing it in honor of the truth when you know that the people holding power have been neutralizing truth since there was wet ink on the Constitution. So know that Tara's truth is something crucial to the movement. And if you see yourself a partner to the revolution, help this country see through all the baseless propaganda through the crux of Joe's illusions. And recognize that Tara Reid gave everything she had so she could tell us what the truth is. Recognize the decent thing to do when someone bares their soul and shows their bruises is not to ask for context or offer up your own solutions. Your job is just to listen with an honest mind and put yourself on Tara's side a moment so you understand the path she chooses. That there is no instant fame worth the dragging of your name. And if that's what you think, you've a lot to learn about the kind of facts the mob can handle and the kind that it refuses. You've a lot to learn about the news and all its many uses. Guess you've yet to learn the truth the news will serve as fruit from which they've squeezed out all the juices. And we all eat the husk and just pretend it's full of nutrients and isn't really useless. But the jaws of our ability to yield accountability are absolutely toothless. So don't you kid yourself that any lips are being loosened. They won't ever tell us where the bodies are or show us where the proof is. It's on you to recognize the lechery our president so regularly oozes. It's on you to muster up some honesty and ask yourself how Biden won your trust, but it's America that loses. Open up your eyes and learn to recognize the bruises. Open up your eyes and learn to recognize the bruises.
My lips, brand new taxes, starving all the billionaires and neutering their Visa Maxes. Topple Congress off their axis, mobilize the homeless, give them axes, call it praxis. Chop a couple limbs off the legislative branches, we'll show you the difference between air as a human right and guaranteed oxygen access. Octogenarians who barely know what day it is are culling countless citizens while sitting on a dais made of ignorance that was built on the graves of the slaves made to labor for its self-declared significance. And all to build a Congress full of millionaires who make their fortunes insider trading while they shit on all the indigent. So I got a bone to pick with our leaders, and I'll start with the ligaments. Pick right through the muscle, dig the marrow out, and serve it to the unhoused millions living in their minivans or watching their belongings get evicted from their tenement. I have a dream where we breach the walls of Congress and just let them in. And what happens next will survive in only text, cause there won't be any evidence. There will only be that heavy kind of feeling that pervades a space where there has been a reckoning and you can feel its remnants.
Let any man who enters seeking power know that those who came before him suffocated on their eminence. That there once was a seal on the wall, but we quartered it and scattered all the pieces that it might prevent its semblance. And so we end the great experiment. We'll take all your billions, leave you 2 coins for the ferryman. Leave you drifting on a Dutchman floating derelict among the wretched seraphim. For holy is the hand that wiped the land clean of those who pose as gentlemen. That's my time, honey, cue the thunderclap and strike the theremin. And so we end the great experiment. Leave you 2 coins for the ferryman.
Who are these people?
What's up, fam? Welcome, everybody. We actually made it on time by some miracle. We did that.
Wait, we're usually on time.
Right? I mean, it's very generous with usually on time, I feel like. We've been a little late, probably more than once.
By like what, 2 minutes?
Probably. I mean, depending
like
on
Jimmy, who you have to wait for at least like as long as an hour.
Hour sometimes? Yeah. Anyway, I'm here with my lovely co-host, as always, Collin Radix-Carter, aka Care Bear, and down below us we have Misty Putin. Right down there.
Putin. I don't know why that's not Italian.
I don't know why, because it comes from Jimmy somehow. That's probably why. You know, it's just got to be.
That's what he calls
Italian
me. It cracks me up every
It's
time.
weird, and it's Johnny Pasta,
it's hilarious.
right? Johnny Pasta.
Yeah, Johnny Pasta instead of Craig.
Yeah.
And I don't know where. I'm gonna ask him the next time I talk to him if I'm in his phone as Misty Putin, because I'm pretty sure I'm in his phone as Misty Putin.
Misty
I'd
Putin.
be willing to bet.
Misty Putin. How did he get it's like when your
my
dad
name is
doesn't
Comrade
know what the
Misty,
video
Putin's
game
buddy.
is called. It's
Yeah.
like it's always Nintendo. That's what it is.
Yeah. Well, every time he shows one of my tweets on his show, he's like, Comrade Misty Putin, or he'll say Comrade Putin or Comrade Misty or Misty Putin. It's never the whole thing. So it just kind of got shortened to Misty
Anyway,
Putin.
we have some stories for you to give your opinion on this week. I figured I'd get some work out of you while you're here.
Great, thanks. Like I don't have enough to do.
I know, you're doing so much. Hopefully it's in your wheelhouse. So let's go down here and full screen this.
I'm literally working right now, actually.
Right? We'll multitask. I'm down. I'm used to this. Anyway, as long as you right click me and make my screen as big as you need it to see things.
Well,
yes,
okay,
me.
now I can focus.
There you go. So, this is from Common Dreams, Jessica Corbett over there. And they wanted to point out, so after nearly a decade in exile, Snowden granted Russian citizenship. While the whistleblower said a little stability would benefit his family, our digital rights advocate noted that if the Biden administration dropped the charges against Snowden, Putin wouldn't be able to use him for a PR stunt. Wouldn't that be nice?
True story.
So we'll jump right in. So Edward Snowden was among 72 foreign-born individuals granted Russian citizenship on Monday in a decree signed by President Vladimir Putin just over 7 months into Russia's war in Ukraine. Snowden, who exposed the mass surveillance practices of the U.S. National Security Agency, if you didn't know, has lived in Russia since the summer of 2013, when the United States revoked his passport while he was attempting to travel from Hong Kong to Ecuador, right? Shortly after Russia granted him permanent residency, right, Snowden announced in November 2020 that he and his wife, Lindsay Mills, who gave birth to their first son that year and a second son earlier that year, were seeking dual citizenship. So, after years of separation from our parents, my wife and I have no desire to be separated from our son, Snowden explained. That's why in this era of pandemics and closed borders, we're applying for dual U.S.-Russian citizenship. Lindsay and I will remain Americans, raising our son with all the values of the America we love, including the freedom to speak his mind, and I look forward to the day I can return to the States so the whole family can be reunited. He added, our greatest wish is that wherever our son lives, he feels at home. In a tweet noting that statement and sharing a family photo, the 39-year-old said Monday that after years of separation from our parents, my wife and I have no desire to be separated from our sons. After 2 years of waiting and nearly 10 years of exile, a little stability will make a difference for my family. I pray for privacy for them and for us all. Here's those tweets if you didn't see them with the cute little family there. Look at that. But I think he added, right, they have no, that's why in this era of pandemics and closed borders, we're applying for dual U.S.-Russian citizenship. So that was granted, right? Last Monday? At least finally. For him. So that's nice. Snowden attorney Anatoly Kucherena, I hope, I'm sure I'm butchering that, told Russian state-owned RIA Novosti on Monday that Mills is seeking citizenship. The lawyer also said that Snowden will not be forced to participate in the recently announced partial mobilization to send troops to Ukraine, as he has not served in Russia's army. Not long before Russia invaded Ukraine in late February, Snowden accused the global news media of pushing for war. Since the invasion, he has faced some criticism for his lack of comment on the conflict. Just after the war began, he said that I'm not suspended from the ceiling above a barrel of acid by a rope that burns a little faster every time I tweet. You concern trolling ghouls. I've just lost any confidence I had that sharing my thinking on this particular topic continues to be useful because I called it wrong. In response to the citizenship news on Monday, Evan Greer, director of the U.S.-based digital rights group Fight for the Future, tweeted that if the Biden administration dropped the charges against Snowden, Putin wouldn't be able to use him for a PR stunt. You know this guy, Shadowproof manager, editor Kevin Gostola said, let's be clear, Snowden sought citizenship in Russia because his government will not let him return to his home country without putting him on trial, exposing mass surveillance that systematically violated the privacy rights of millions and even spurred modest reform. Misty, anything to add?
Not really. I mean, it is ridiculous that Snowden is in exile still in the year 2022. It's ridiculous that there isn't a statue to him somewhere in this country. I'm not even a statue person, but if we're going to build statues to people, it should be for people like Edward Snowden. And yeah, I just want to make it very clear, because every time Snowden pops up into the news, here come the idiots who are like, oh, he's such a Russian. Why did he end up in Russia? Why did he flee to Russia? That's been popping up a lot lately. He didn't flee to Russia.
He was choice.
Leaving Hong Kong, trying to get to Ecuador, was going through Moscow. And when he was in Moscow, his paperwork was revoked. And so he was unable then to move. So he just got stuck in Russia. He didn't flee to Russia. He just got stuck there. And I also want to point out that if it were not for the courage and principles of Julian Assange and WikiLeaks, Edward Snowden would without a doubt be in a prison cell right now. Edward Snowden was not WikiLeaks' source. But when Julian Assange and WikiLeaks heard that he was in trouble, they went to great lengths and took great personal risk to ensure that he made it to safety. And they were successful in that. And not a lot of people are aware of that fact. So thank you, Julian.
So here's Kevin Gostola's tweets, in case you missed them. The State Department revoked Snowden's passport. As a result, he became stuck in a Moscow airport. He didn't choose a life in Russia, but given the choice of a life with family in Russia or an unfair trial that could result in a lengthy prison sentence, he chose his family. I feel like that's the easy choice to make myself. So Snowden, who potentially faces decades in U.S. prison for theft and espionage act charges, has previously said that he would return to the United States if he believed he would receive a fair trial. Good luck on that. A federal appeals court ruled 2 years ago that the NSA's warrantless surveillance of U.S. phone records, which Snowden exposed, was illegal. Snowden has continued to criticize years of impunity for the agency's violation of American civil liberties. So, our position has not changed. Mr. Snowden should return to the United States, where he would face justice as any other American citizen would. Ned Price, a spokesperson for the U.S. State Department, said Monday, also suggesting that the exile may be required to fight in Russia's war against Ukraine, despite his attorney's comments on the matter. The WAPO reported that White House Press Secretary Karen Jean-Pierre declined to comment, only saying that since I believe there have been criminal charges brought against him, we would point you to the Department of Justice for any specifics on this, of course.
Wow.
That's
Press
always their
Secretary had
cop-out.
nothing to say.
Yeah.
That's always their cop out. Every time they're asked about Snowden or Assange or any of that stuff, it's always, we're going to defer you to the Department of Justice.
Yeah, please see our torture program for any questions you may have.
Yeah.
So a Monday story, this is from Matt Taibbi, a Monday story in the WAPO entitled Putin Grants Citizenship to Edward Snowden. So began Russian President Vladimir Putin granted citizenship on Monday to Edward Snowden, a former security consultant who leaked information about top secret U.S. surveillance programs and is still wanted by Washington on espionage charges. The story added, Snowden's disclosure, published first in the Washington Post and the Guardian, were arguably the biggest security breach in U.S. history. The information revealed top secret NSA surveillance as part of a program known as PRISM and the extraction of a wide range of digital information. So I figured we should sneak that in there. Snowden is America's most famous revealer of secrets, and the way he's talked about has evolved to an extreme degree in less than a decade, showing him how quickly a story about security overreach can be flipped into an argument for more vigilance. The press, which once worked for Snowden in its proper role as a bulwark against government excess, is effectively an arm of the state now, as is shown again in this absurd episode. Meanwhile, in Russia, when asked if Putin will meet with Snowden, presidential spokesperson Dmitry Peskov reportedly said that there are no such plans. So take that.
Can we just say fuck the Washington Post and mainstream media? Because they used the work of Edward Snowden, the courage of Edward Snowden, and the revelations that came out of that to make careers, to make a shit ton of money. And then they couldn't have turned on him faster. As soon as they were done with him, they now throw him under the bus on a regular basis, as they do with Julian Assange. It's the same shtick they pull with Julian Assange. They use they still to this day are using that stuff. Washington Post won awards and stuff for the Snowden releases. And now they throw him under the bus on a regular basis. So fuck them, fuck mainstream media. It can't be said enough. It needs to be called out on a regular basis. They are vile.
Yeah, I agree. Collin, anything you want to add?
Just a random thing. I'm kind of surprised that you can have dual citizenship in the US and Russia, of all places. Like,
yeah,
I just wonder why that is, considering
probably they haven't. Biden forgot to write that into the rules. Probably, I imagine. You know. Anyway, fuck it. What is it? Something. We're fucked. Isn't that?
But I did see in the stream, in the chat, from
Hi, chat.
For the Willie Bragg show on Twitch. Look at it this way: Ed Snowden is safe in Russia and will enjoy universal healthcare when he gets sick. I mean, yeah.
Can't complain there.
Like,
can't complain there. But here in this country,
we're fucked.
I agree.
Oh God.
What?
God damn it, Warren.
This one was me. I think I did that one.
Oh no, I'm Revolution Mom Crab. Fuck.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I am kind of though. Yesterday I lectured JB about taking a nap.
Right.
I'm such a mom. God damn it. I used to be cool, you guys. I promise.
Gotcha, bitch.
I need more bitch sound effects for your show and get those set up. So hold on. Let me make sure I have those in the slide deck while we wait. Because I made sure to put them in.
Hey, that's my event. Woo, woo.
That is your event. Not that the people can see it yet. Let's do this story first, I think. Let's do that. All right. Present. How do buttons work? Jesus Christ. What is wrong with me today? There we go.
so I was a little worried about Hurricane Ian hitting his house.
Oh my God. Thankfully, it just missed me by inches. So
hey, I do have the muscles. Yes, thank you.
Yes, you do. You've been working.
I do have the muscles.
Fucking ass off to get them too.
I'm working on it. I'm not all that strong yet, but
those workouts are ridiculous.
Yeah,
Anyway, so INN member, shut the fuck up, shitlib, aka Joe. recently had some fun being off Twitter and now is back at STFU shitlib 2, I think.
Dos.
Yeah. But he decided to make some comeback videos. So I figured, like, you know, like the substitute teacher who doesn't have anything to do, I'd bring videos for a story, you know? So let's just watch those and react. Let's make sure there's sound.
The US mainstream media censors more than Soviet Russia.
Have you heard about Twitter?
So quick recap of this latest, you know, wave of censorship.
The guy from Twitter.
It's Joe at STFU shitlib.
On Twitter, they went ahead and banned
our friend Joe, STFU shitlib on Twitter. Fucking jackasses posting on Facebook is a threat to the foundational values of our country.
My failure to fully appreciate at the time.
Here, I'll do that.
Just how susceptible we had become to lies and conspiracy theories.
Those lies.
You mean like that sarin gas thing? Remember when Colin Powell held it up at the UN? Remember he said this, a teaspoon of this could kill hundreds of thousands of people? Remember, you mean a lie like that?
It's almost as if they don't give a fuck about disinformation or transparency or nothing.
Why is that? Why are people afraid of having an honest and open conversation? When people say disinformation, I think what they mean is shut up. We only want one perspective.
So now the government's going to tell you what's hate and what's disinformation and what threatens our communities and foundational values.
Who gets to decide what hate speech is? Hey, we're against the government. I hate that speech. Shut up.
You can't talk about the war in Ukraine without censorship.
Oh my God, I've been so confused. I've been saying, when is the government going to tell me what to think?
What you need is major corporations that are reliant on advertising money that harvest your data. Those are the people that you can trust to give you an unbiased account on the story.
Go fuck yourself. Eat shit.
We're the father. We're the boss. We decide what's good for you. Eat your vegetables. Shut your mouth. Sit down. You can't read that.
Go fuck yourself. Eat shit.
We also created...
The government is helping get trusted content out there. The government, which has lied us into every war in my lifetime. The government is making sure you're getting the trusted information. Does that sound correct to anybody?
We just saw a sitting president deny the clear results of an election.
Go fuck yourself. Eat shit.
You mean the way you guys did when Trump beat Hillary Clinton? Because that's what you did for 4 years. So it's okay for Barack Obama to say Russia overthrew our government in 2016. But it's not okay for Trump to say that his election wasn't on the up and up. But it's okay. So it's just Trump's lie is bad. Keith Olbermann says time to ban this feral succubus Jimmy Dore from Twitter and other platforms.
And the military apparatus of this country is about to be handed over to scum who are beholden to scum. Russian scum.
Go fuck yourself. Eat shit.
So he threw in the lies, but he goes, they spread dirt. Like, what do you mean dirt? You mean like stuff from like a hard drive or stuff that was true? The dirt on you?
The dirt? You mean the WikiLeaks emails that you want to now kill Chelsea Manning and Julian Assange for? You mean like that kind of because that's what they're upset at. They're upset at Julian Assange's truth. They're not upset at the lies. They're upset at the truth. That's why they're trying to kill Julian Assange right now. Not because of his lies. So everything he's saying is bullshit.
You exposed war crimes, and we don't like the way that you did it. Not the war crimes. We're going to shoot the messenger and totally forget about the Arabs, the Afghanis, all the people that we've been killing and murdering all over the fucking world because their lives don't matter. They're sending a message. This is what will happen to you. You're going to go to jail for hundreds of years, and they're dragging him all the fucking way to the U.S. to put him in jail because he showed the U.S. for what it really is.
People are dying because of misinformation.
You mean like in the Iraq war, the Libya war, your drone program, the Afghanistan war, Syria, and now Ukraine? Or how about Venezuela? We could go on and on forever. Yemen, Somalia. You mean people are dying like that? How about your drone program that killed 90% innocent people? You mean people are dying like that? And the guy who revealed that drone program kills 90% of the people. Guess where he is? He's in prison. So it's not the lies that they're afraid of. It's the truth. Don't ever fucking forget that. This is about protecting kids, not about controlling the discourse around vaccines, big pharma, the wars, military-industrial complex, oil. No, it's not about that. It's not about that. It's not about that.
And now these idiots are cheering on more censorship? You can't even post a link now? You have billionaires in Silicon Valley deciding what the truth is? And people are cheering this on. They're so fucking brainwashed and stupid.
And people love it because they see it as fighting Trump. But what you're really doing is giving the oligarchs and the corporations all the power to censor you. That's all that is. You're not fighting anything. You're fucking yourself.
Fascism. And we have to act brutally against Trump and his supporters in office and out. Round up Trump and the cult now. No restoration, just eternal damnation.
But the way liberals operate is they can't debate you or address your arguments ever. So they only smear you.
So Keith Olbermann's big idea is he doesn't want to be divisive. He just wants to round up half the country and put them somewhere. Can you build a prison big enough for half the country?
They have a certain narrative in mind. They have a certain thing that they want to smear you with, and they no matter what the facts are, they're going to continue that way. There's always insults. It's always personal attacks because that's all they have. That's the level that they stoop to. That's their level of intelligence.
Just note that they do that they highlight differences, that they amplify conflict. There is no force in the mix that's saying, hey, why don't we just try to move beyond that, because it's not actually going to make that much difference. If we're all squabbling and quarrelling among one another, then that list of issues is going to go unaddressed.
That's not even right wing. That's just fucking authoritarian. That's just nuts. All right, well, there you go. There's way to go, Twitter. Way to fuck up Twitter. They can't. You Google YouTube fucking up YouTube. It's just becomes one big corporate gangbang.
Yep. Thoughts on that, Misty? There's
yes to all of it. Dude, did you see today the speech that Jacinda what's her face came out? Jacinda Ardern talking about how free speech is a weapon of war.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Speech is now a weapon of war. Y'all, and it makes me mad, Reef, because God damn it, I've been screaming about this for years. And it's not just me. I'm not like big upping myself here, but it is frustrating as somebody who has been screaming about this for literally years and warning people that this is what's coming and that they want full control over the narrative. They want to manufacture your reality for you. They want to shut you up. They want to silence all dissent. They want to force feed you a narrative. And then that's it. You only get one source of information and you just have to accept it and shut the fuck up. And that's exactly where we're headed. And like, it's really frustrating. It's really fucking frustrating. And people still don't want to get angry about this. Still don't want to get in the streets about this. Still aren't, freaking the fuck out about it. Everybody's just like, yeah, I mean, it's fine, whatever. Are you kidding me? This is fucking crazy. Yep. Speech is being called violence, and now it's being called a weapon of war. Are you joking me? I mean, if anybody's used speech as a weapon of war, it is the fucking United States government. Nobody lies more than the United States government, period. End of story, period. There is no greater purveyor of misinformation than the United States of America. End of story. It's not even close. It's not even close. It's ridiculous. Not even close. And yet here we are.
Well, Biden just did it last week.
He does it daily. They do it daily, Collin. Daily. They lie to you
on the
repeatedly.
daily, but Biden was like, I'm willing to go to war with Taiwan.
Mm-hmm.
He asked we're a dead person. Like,
yeah, he doesn't really know what's going on.
I mean, is that who he's been shaking the hands of? I don't get it.
I mean,
I don't get it.
Maybe.
I will say this because I've been interacting with a few of these type of people like this week. I don't know why. Some of it I think is kind of hilarious in a way, but it's like they want people like Jimmy Dore and others of that caliber to be censored, and they're willing to have him off Twitter, which look,
idiots.
Yeah, I mean, look, do we agree with everything that Jimmy Dore says? No. And you have that right to not agree with everything, but like when he says the truth, you gotta give him praise for that, especially given his position. Yeah. And I think people are just so willing to hate on the truth because of the person that says it, that they're willing to have him have it censored. But yet when they get censored of Twitter, they cry and bitch about it. It's like, oh, this isn't fair, whatever. Well, I'm like, well, you don't want.
What do you think is going to happen? What the fuck do you think is going to happen when you open that door? You think it's only going to come for people you don't like?
Right.
Grow up. Of course, that's not how it works.
And they blame us for shutting them down. And it's like, well, what's good for the goose is what's good for the gander. You want Jimmy to be censored for what you perceive as, not to say everything, comes out of his mouth you can necessarily agree with, but I feel like 80% of it is.
Well, even if you don't agree with Jimmy Dore ever, even if you there's nothing that comes out of Jimmy Dore's mouth that you ever agree with, he still shouldn't be censored. ever. Period. End of story. It doesn't matter. You don't get to decide what is truth. You don't get to decide what is valid information. You don't get to decide what I'm allowed to listen to or hear or agree with. You don't get to make that decision. And some Silicon Valley tech bro doesn't get to make that decision either. It's ridiculous that we've reached this point. And now it's so frustrating. And I realize I'm ranting. I'm sorry. But it's very frustrating because now the line between the imaginary line between big tech and the government that was supposed to be there before, right? Like they're not supposed to be involved in advocating for censorship or calling that's disappeared. Like they're very upfront about it now. Like hey, we're going to ask Facebook to censor more people. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is like lecturing Mark Zuckerberg about how he's not censoring enough. Joe Biden, the Joe Biden administration is like doing press conferences where they're like, yeah, we asked them to censor more. Look at what's her face in New Zealand is like, it's a weapon. We need to censor more. Speech is a weapon of war. I mean, what the fuck?
Yet Eliza Blue has to beg and plead for child porn to be removed from Twitter. Like,
yeah, I love her.
That's what we.
That's where we're at.
Oh God!
We have to beg for child pornography to be taken down off of Twitter. But if you post about I don't want to say it because I don't want to get you taken down. But the thing. If you post about the thing or the boop boop or the horse stuff or whatever, you get taken off of Twitter. But child porn's okay. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Luckily, we're on Rumble and Rockfin as well, so
I know, but I still want to get your YouTube channel taken down.
I feel you. I appreciate the sentiment.
I don't want to be that person.
You're used to this. I get it. Speaking of censorship, let's go for round 2 on these videos, shall we? This one's shorter.
He removed my video.
Keith Olbermann says time to ban this feral succubus Jimmy Dore from Twitter and other platforms.
I got banned from Twitch because I said that there were biolabs in Ukraine, which is now guaranteed. It's proven by our Undersecretary.
It was admitted by the Undersecretary of State Newland. I just want to let you know a succubus.
Whoa.
Is a demon assuming female form to have sexual intercourse with men in their sleep. These extremists on YouTube, they talk about things that aren't real, like runaway military budgets and shit like that.
People like myself, we haven't violated any rule, but we're being punished. Meanwhile, corporations, mainstream media, YouTube channels, they're violating it right in the open, and YouTube does nothing. But if you call it out like I did and like others have done, then you get punished. They removed my video.
The government's going to protect you from hate, everybody. Isn't that nice? The government's going to protect you from other people hating you. The government.
As they invade other countries.
Yes.
Like when you're having these conversations about censorship, like if you don't like stuff, just don't watch it. Don't watch it if it offends you. Watch something else.
The biggest purveyor of disinformation is the government. The second is the establishment media.
They removed my video.
You shouldn't be banned from one platform and not others for providing misinformation out there.
Nate's liver says, perfect. I like my propaganda full-blown pro-North Korea style.
Yep.
They removed my video.
Look at that. U.S. government account. Russia state-affiliated media. Do you notice the difference in language?
You idiots have to rely on the corporate media that is owned by 6 companies, thanks to Bill Clinton. 6 companies control every newspaper, every magazine, every TV show, every radio show, every cable show that you see is owned by 6 companies.
So they can try and discredit people who tell the truth and smear us and character assassinate us for telling the truth. It's nothing new. Just like they used to call Martin Luther King a communist and keep a file this size on him at the FBI, and the same thing for Malcolm X.
Here's what's not censored. They thought that the fake chemical attack in Syria, this is how CNN covered it.
And there's definitely something that stings. That's how the kids' minds. And there's definitely something that stings.
So if you thought there was deadly gas on a backpack, let me sniff it. Let me sniff it.
They removed my video.
These are the lies that will never be censored. CNN will never be censored for their lies pro-war, nor MSNBC or ABC or anybody, or the New York Times or the Washington Post, and they all print huge lies about every war.
They removed my video.
Sanjay Gupta tells Joe Rogan that CNN shouldn't have called ivermectin a horse dewormer. So, would that lie get censored? No, it wouldn't. You're still allowed to say that on Twitter, YouTube, and everywhere. You're still allowed to lie like that. By the way, here's what CNN did. When Joe Rogan got coronavirus, that's his real picture. They colored it to make him look sicker. That would never get censored either. So again, the biggest liars are corporate media that's funded by Big Pharma, the military industrial complex, fossil fuel companies, and Wall Street. Those are the liars.
Well,
then it's not
PolitiFact-
fucking this guy, but they did this and they never had to pay a price for it. Go ahead, Kurt.
PolitiFact recently debunked my eyes,
Yes.
so that's why I know.
That's right. So PolitiFact said that this didn't happen. They said that this was not colored.
There's no evidence.
They removed my video.
What do you want to happen now? What do I want to happen? I want it to be a revolution in this country. I say fuck the media, fuck the mainstream. You don't deserve to be there.
They are encouraging and enabling and advocating for censorship and the smearing of journalists who are doing their fucking jobs, attacking us from the right. Fuck them. I don't owe these people respect. I don't owe them shit. And if you can't see that, if you can't see that these people are crypto neoliberals and they are advocating on behalf of the surveillance state, then you need to take your head out of your ass because you're next.
They removed my video.
Always attack the messenger, never the message. That's how it goes. They want to smear you and chastise you.
People are beginning to recognize the oligarchical inequality. People are beginning to recognize that the media, state, and big business are operating a triumvirate of dominance to prevent conversation taking place. Therefore, in Canada and elsewhere in the world, you have to introduce censorship legislation. Otherwise, the power of the internet, the power that the internet always promised, could be realized. People all over the world could start communicating and saying, hang on a minute, could we organize society differently? What ideas have you got? How could we do things? Wait, cryptocurrencies, could that work? Solar energy. What about if we trade differently? Could we opt out of this? What if people stop paying tax? What if debt's cancelled at a personal level? All these ideas start to ferment and bubble up. And what happens? Who's challenged ultimately by that?
You need to take your head out of your ass because you're next.
Dude, Richie's been on fire in these videos. So
Richie's always on fire.
Oh,
He's a good ranter too. I would like to rant with him one day. He's a good ranter.
yeah. He did a great video on the Iranian protest too. That people should seriously go watch. Like it's 30
He just
minutes.
interviewed Stella too.
Yeah, like, you know, if you're
Yeah,
wondering what's
seriously.
actually happening there, you know, but anyway, yeah, I mean, censorship sucks. You know, especially when we constantly see misinformation sent out by the State Department and nothing is done.
Yeah, mainstream media lies how many times? How many times, you guys? How many times have they been caught straight up lying to you? And there's never any, when does Rachel Maddow ever lose her platform? Did she lose her platform for like 5 years of screeching about Russiagate? No, of course not. Did any of them for screeching about Russiagate? No, not one time will there ever be any accountability for the lies that they tell you. But, you know, I'll lose my platform. You'll lose your platform. Richie will lose his platform. Russell Brand will get his videos taken down. But there will never be any accountability for mainstream media. They will never have any punishment or anything. Nothing will ever happen to them for lying to you, ever.
Yeah, I mean, we got a community strike on a video about, I won't say it, but it was based on truth. And
Yeah.
we still got a community strike for it.
Doesn't
Calling
matter.
particular blue and yellow armies what they actually are.
Yeah.
You know,
Truth
but
doesn't matter. We live in a post-truth world,
do
y'all.
you remember when we whispered of a dream and someone would yell about like the what is it? The New York Times had posted the weapons of mass destruction tubes, right? Like on the front page. Do you remember that famous rant by Jenk that like him blowing up about it? It's still happening. Like, how do you not? I don't even want to get into that, but like, it's been happening.
Yeah.
So, like, it's craziness. But
Jack, seriously, stop.
what sucks is there's no real protection for us who deal constantly with like, trolls and stalkers and so on and
Don't
so
even get me
forth.
started.
Like, like I brought an article from, let's see where it's at. It is from the CPJ. Look, Zordon, I can't do that right. Relax. Let's do that. So,
Jack, oh my God.
Pirate Kitty.
She's driving me crazy. I don't know if she found some catnip somewhere or something, but she is going fucking nuts right now.
Right. Speaking of which, did you have the thing I sent you? Is that there?
Oh no, my kid made me hanging on the wall. I don't think my kid can hear me. When my other kid gets home, I'll make her go get it. So I had to hang it on the wall outside of her bedroom.
Oh, that's fucking adorbs.
Yeah. So when she gets home, she'll be home from practice in a little bit. I'll make her go up and get it.
Nice. So
my other kid's in her room and won't hear me if I yell.
So digital
safety. She is right there. Hold on.
Go ahead. So this is from the CPJ about digital safety, right? So it's particularly for journalists. So I feel like it's pertinent to us. But so they start with reporting can involve researching and contacting people who pose a threat to you or the media outlet you work for. Using personal devices and accounts to do so could expose you to harassment and identity theft. Since using your phone or the internet can reveal information about you and your location, such as your email or internet protocol address, take steps to protect yourself before reaching out. So they tell you to search your subject to see they have a history of harassing journalists who report on them and whether the risks are digital, physical, or both. Review safe online research practices below before you visit a subject's website or other digital platform. Oh my God, it was so cute. Look at the handsome boy. It looks so good. It's way bigger than I thought it was.
Yeah, it's big.
It's legit.
I love it.
It's fucking great. But
I love it.
So discuss your story and its risks with your editor, who, if you're lucky enough to have one of those, to find out what support will be available as you investigate and publish it. Carry out a risk assessment and review and update it regularly throughout your investigation. Weigh the risk of investigating the story against the reward. Is the risk significant? Purchase a separate phone and SIM card or virtual phone number from a service like Google Voice for the story. Review the safer communication section below. But yeah, so for very sensitive stories, consider using Tails, a portable, secure operating system for any computer. Seek help from a security specialist to set it up. Imagine someone searching online for data that they can use to harass, intimidate, or discredit you. Review your profiles to see what is in the public domain and remove what you can as detailed below. Be aware that sources may keep or record communications with you, including phone calls, and could make them public, present them out of context, or otherwise manipulate them. Step up security measures while initiating contact with sources, and immediately after publishing will you be most at risk. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure you've dealt with half of these things. I don't even think of you as you're an activist more than you are a journalist.
I'm not a journalist. I say that all the time. I'm not a journalist. People try to label me as that, and it makes me hugely uncomfortable because I have a great deal of respect for the profession of journalism.
Right.
And that's not me. I'm not a journalist. I mean, at best, I'm a commentator. I only started doing shows so I could highlight my activism. That was the whole reason why I started doing shows. So I'm an activist. So yeah, I refuse to be labeled as a journalist. People try all the time and I'm like, nope, reject it. Openly reject it. No, thank you.
So they tell you to...
That's nice. It's kind when people say that, but it's not true. It's not accurate. It's not who I am.
Right. So they told you to use a VPN when carrying out research, and especially downloading documents. Hide your IP, right? They also told you to use the Tor browser, which was created by our lovely military. The most secure way to browse the internet anonymously, available right now for your most sensitive research. Digital security specialists can provide assistance if you need. Confirm websites you visited are encrypted. Use uBlock Origin for Chrome or Firefox to protect yourself from advertising that could be used to track you, or install malware. And the uMatrix plugin for Chrome or Firefox to control how your browser communicates with the sites you visit. Create dedicated social media accounts and use them in place of personal accounts when joining groups run by people who might wish you harm. Use a service like Twilio or Google Voice in the US to mask your real phone number when setting them up. Revealing your name or other identifying data, such as your date of birth, on these accounts increase the risk of harassment. And many journalists use generic photos appropriate for the group they are connecting with instead of their own. Use a throwaway email address. When registering with sites that could put you at risk, when interacting, be extra careful not to give away personal information or click on links that might be compromised. Even that one. I know there's free singles in your area, but Find them elsewhere.
I mean, I'm not a journalist, but I still have to deal with all of this. Like, I have legitimate stalkers. I have people who legitimately like post pictures of my house online.
Ridiculous.
You know, yeah, it's fucking crazy, dude. I'm some chick from Ohio, y'all. Like, if you're spending that much energy on me, you have issues. I have no power or influence or money. I'm nobody. Like, I'm fully aware well of that. You should be. Go after people who have actual influence over your life, not me. It's really strange.
So they even go over like how to create a throwaway email. I hope people could figure that out.
A throwaway email.
Multiple.
Yes.
Like erase all information and delete the account when you have finished research. That's probably smart as well. Don't include personal info. Couldn't agree more. So they also talk about just trying to secure your data. So turn on two-factor on like everything. Create long, unique passwords for each account. Prioritize protecting data that can be used to locate you, especially your address. What else they got? Set regular calendar reminders to look yourself up online. I don't know if I could handle that. And do so on a range of search engines using private or incognito mode. Note anything you could make private or remove. I think someone, I don't know if I think Kit was having troubles recently too. But
was he?
Yeah, I think. So sign up for Google Alerts to be notified when others use your name online, including common misspellings of your name, your address, and any other personal information. So you're gonna have to look up all the Mindys too. That's gonna be a while.
There's a lot. I have a lot of parody accounts of me. I don't know how many it's up to because I genuinely try not to. I used to give a lot of energy and stuff to trolls. I don't anymore. And the only time I ever see anything anymore is if somebody sends it to me, and just don't send it to me. I don't care. Like, I really don't care what these people have to say about me. I don't think about them in any way, shape, form, or fashion. They are obsessed. Like, there are some of them that their entire timeline is like 87% dedicated to screenshots of my tweets. That's ridiculous. You know what I mean? They're obsessed, and it's not something I care to think about. I just don't give a shit. I really don't.
So make content private on sites and accounts you own. Ask family and friends to remove information from sites and accounts they control. Be aware that it may not be possible to remove data stored on sites owned by third parties, such as public databases, and that deleted data may live on screenshots or internet archives, such as the Wayback Machine. Ask Google Maps, Apple Maps, and other companies to blur or remove your home or other identifying information. Ask Google Search to remove links from public search results, which can include links detailing personal data such as your home address. Results on other search engines will not be affected. Contact the creator of the public database, normally a government body, to see if your information can be removed or made private. Laws about this differ by country. Service exists to help you remove your information from sites which trade data for advertising and other purposes, though it may take a month to see the effects. One example, Delete Me, owned by the company Abine, operates in the US and some other countries. So create separate accounts.
And you know what sucks? What sucks is I've learned in recent months that even people who I knew didn't really like me that much, but I didn't think were like that, like, not crazy, but that weird about it. Like, because so much of your personal information is available online, regardless of what you do about it, it's really difficult to get stuff like removed from, like, my family's names have been doxxed. And like the city that they live in has been doxxed by people who are like in ally circles.
Yeah.
And that sucks. Like, that sucks to know that it's not just people who obsessively hate troll me. It's people who I'm friends with people who are friends with them. And I wasn't under any impression that they liked me. I didn't think that these people did, but I didn't know that it went to that level where they were like willing to like dox my family members. So I mean, it sucks. Like, you really, whatever you can do to protect yourself. I'm going through that process now. I'm trying to figure out all the best ways that I can get stuff taken down as much as possible. I mean, I have kids, y'all.
Yeah.
I don't want people knowing where I live. Like, that's there are crazy people out there who will do bad things. So yeah, it sucks.
So I mean, it goes, create separate accounts for work and personal, check privacy settings regularly, remove personal information such as your date of birth, turn off your location and any geotagging functions that show where you were for specific posts. The information could put you or others at risks. Verify your accounts. Move conversations to Signal or WhatsApp or Telegram. I'll probably also add that, although even that is sketch sometimes. So rather than direct messaging, and only use the dedicated phone and SIM card you have bought for your research. Think about what you post. Don't share pictures of your office, hotel, or something else that gives away your location, especially if you're doing journalism in a country where there's war.
Yeah.
Like,
I go out of town, you won't know it. I won't
Guys,
tell you. I'm not telling anybody on Twitter.
They put a missile into the hotel where RT journalists were at. Like that's.
I just don't want people to know I'm not at home. You know what I mean? Like I don't want people to know where I am if I'm not at home, and I don't. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah, for sure. So think about what you post. Don't share pictures. Right. Ask family and friends to avoid posting information. That's a hard one because like sometimes they're just not paying attention. You know. So
yeah.
But anyway, right? They talk about buying
conversations,
buying a separate SIM card. You know, using a different like phone number and using only like throwaway emails. Like keep photos of yourself
phone. If you're
off
like
the
a
device.
Journalist, get a burner. And use that for a story. If you're doing a particular story and you need something to contact sources on or whatever, get a burner phone.
Yep. Keep it airlocked as much as possible. Only turn on mobile like networks when you like absolutely require it.
Keep it turned off unless you are using it.
Yeah, legit. So use apps with end-to-end encrypted messaging such as Signal or WhatsApp to communicate, since calls and SMS messages exchanged over mobile phone networks are not encrypted and governments and others can access the content. So WhatsApp, be aware government could subpoena WhatsApp to access the metadata, but Signal stores much less. Secure Signal or WhatsApp accounts with advanced security features if needed, such as screen lock, registration lock, disappearing messages, and view once photos and videos. Use
Can I
wire.
just say something about Signal though?
Yes.
All of those, not as secure as you think. Be very mindful
Absolutely.
of that. Nothing is foolproof. Nothing is foolproof.
Use
be mindful of that.
Use wire to communicate where possible, since you could sign up without a phone number. Yep, create a plan to backup and delete content stored in the apps, right? And after publication, backup anything you need, then delete everything stored in the accounts, and then the accounts themselves. Disconnect the phone number and factory reset the phone. Whedon Critical Thinking says take the battery out of the phone if that's an option. So then throw it in the ocean, and you should be good. But like, I mean, we laugh. But use Danger Zone to scan files received from a source for malware and covert. Convert potentially dangerous PDFs, images, and other documents into safe PDFs. Remember that almost anything you do on a device leaves a trace, and IT experts can recover deleted content even if you have specialized software to scrub your computer. Send documents under 100 megabytes via Signal or other end-to-end encrypted service. Send documents over 100 megabytes using Onion Share. Be aware that metadata contained in documents, files, and messaging apps, such as the time and date a document was sent, is not always encrypted and could help someone identify both you and your source. But yeah, I just thought it would be a good thing to look through that for people at home.
Protect your sources.
Especially-
Protect your sources. And if you are a source or a whistleblower, this is my public service announcement to stay the entire fuck away from the Intercept. Please. Stay away from the Intercept.
Would be smart.
I don't know. Is there a worse record for burning sources than the Intercept? 3, and then they hired a guy that burned a 4th. That's a pretty terrible record.
Yeah, I agree. Craziness. But yeah, we can keep Deep Throat a secret for years.
Yeah.
Like what? Anyway.
I interviewed the guy that figured out who that was.
Nice.
By the way,
Good
it was
for
a weird
you.
interview, actually.
We watched these already. Now we get to talk about your event, Misty. Speaking of whistleblowers, so here we got we got your event. Tell the people what's happening, where this is happening. You know the drill already.
So it's happening all over the place. So it started in London. They decided they were going to do a big event. They wanted to try to surround Parliament, which they are going to be doing. I think they have like close to 3,500 people signed up so far. And they just picked the date of Saturday, October 8th. And as is often the case in the Assange world, when one person decides they're going to do an event, everybody decides they're going to do an event because we like to make things global whenever possible. So it started with London. It snowballed. I think Australia was next. And then it snowballed from there and everybody decided we were going to do events. I decided to go ahead and jump on. I didn't see anybody else publicly speaking about doing the event in DC. And I'm not patient. So I was like, okay, I'll do it. So we decided to do an event in DC at the Department of Justice because obviously that is ground zero for the Assange case. That's where the charges stem from. So, you know, that's, I think, the most important place that we could be holding a rally at. So we're going to be at the Department of Justice from 12 to 3 on Saturday, October 8th. We have unbelievable speakers lined up. It's a crazy lineup.
I'll play this while you talk about them.
Yeah. It's a crazy fucking lineup. It is. You can play it, or we can go through the graphics because there's some people that some folks might not be. Obviously, everybody knows who Jill Stein is.
Yeah.
Ben Cohen, co-founder of Ben and Jerry's. He's also helping finance the Billboard truck. John Kiriakou, famous CIA whistleblower, an amazing human being. Chip Gibbons is policy director at Defending Rights and Dissent. He is also a host of several shows. Eliza Blue is a human trafficking survivor and human rights advocate, and I love her. Dave DeCamp is an independent journalist, and he also is at antiwar.com and hosts Anti-War News. Dan Cohen is an independent journalist who does a lot of work with Mint Press News. He has a new film coming out about Haiti. John Stasevich is independent candidate for president for 2024. Kevin Gostola is the premier journalist on the Assange case, has been following it from day one, as well as the Chelsea Manning thing. Esther Iverum is author, a journalist. She's got lots of titles. Scott Ritter, everybody knows who Scott Ritter is. He's a former UN weapons inspector. Was I not talking fast enough?
No, you were good. I was just giving you a minute, you know.
Steven Donziger. Everybody knows who Steven Donziger is. That's an amazing get for us. Sabrina Savati, Sabby Sab, my girl. Chris Hedges, I don't think he needs an introduction.
Nope.
Garland Nixon also probably doesn't need an introduction. Radio show host, amazing guy. Zen Master. Joe Loria is the editor-in-chief of Consortium News, which is an amazing independent outlet. Please support their work. Marsha Coleman Adebayo is a former senior policy analyst, and she was a whistleblower for the EPA. James Bovard is a libertarian author and political commentator. Reverend Andy Chambers, Black Panther, civil rights activist, all-around badass. Randy Credico is my dear friend. He's a radio show host, an amazing lifelong activist. I feel like we missed some people in there, maybe, but maybe not.
Yeah, I got slides though if we need them.
Yeah.
We
may not have, but I feel like there's Spike Cohen is a maybe as of right now. He has another event that weekend, but he's going to try to make it out. Aaron Matei is also going to try to make it out, I think. Those are not for sure yet, but those are potential last minute add-ons. So I mean, we only have from 12 to 3, but listen, that's an amazing fucking lineup of people.
Yeah, that's great.
So good. Like I still can't believe that like this is an event that I'm organizing and these people are coming to my event that I'm organizing. You know what I mean? It's crazy. I mean, I'm not just solely organizing it. There are a lot of people working behind the scenes, not just me.
Yeah.
But yeah, such a cool event. It's going to be great. We have a lot of amazing speakers. We have something really cool planned with the Yellow Ribbon campaign. If you haven't seen it, Truman in London started the Yellow Ribbon campaign. He writes people's names and location like Misty USA on yellow ribbons and then ties them at all of the actions and rallies that they do in London. And that's kind of gone global as well. So we're going to do something kind of cool with that. And yeah, it's going to be a really dope event. And it's a historic global day of action. I mean, they're going to be surrounding Parliament. That's, I mean, to my knowledge, the first time that that's ever been attempted. We are also going to be surrounding the Department of Justice in our own way. I honestly don't know that I can pull that many people. It's really hard to get people to come out in the States.
Yeah.
It sucks, but it's true. It's really hard to get people to come out to action. So I would love to be able to get thousands of people. I don't know that we're going to have that. just being realistic and honest about it. I wish I was that cool and that popular and I could get that many people to come out, but I'm just not. So yeah, I mean, we're trying. I've been doing a shit ton of appearances, trying to get the word out as much as possible. I've been tweeting about it like crazy. I've been bothering everybody else to tweet about it like crazy. So yeah, I'm only going to be annoying for about 10 more days. Well, I'm always annoying, but I'll be less annoying after the 10 days is up.
Yeah. I think you're gonna try to make it, right, Collin? I think.
Yeah. I mean, it's my city, so
yeah, you better
fucking
if you're
be
not
there.
there, I'll be angry.
Yeah, I'll give Misty your address. She'll come wake you up. You know,
I will. I'll come pick you up, dude.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Kelly from the chat is asking, will there be any live streams that day?
Yes.
Yes.
So far, Consortium News, I think, is going to be live streaming it. Franco is coming. I think he's going to live stream it. I'm going to live stream it on the Action for Assange channels. I think that somebody from The Real News is coming. I don't know if they're going to live stream it, but they're going to at least make, I think, a piece about it, some kind of a segment about it, which is cool.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. Covert Action is coming. I don't think they're live streaming it, but I think that they'll be just covering the event for Covert Action magazine. But yes, there will be live streams. We're still working out the details of that and making sure that we have the proper equipment and all of that stuff. But yes, for sure, we will absolutely have live streaming available.
Speaking
to
of which,
multiple different platforms.
I think Oz from Roar Media.
Oz is helping with that. Yes,
yeah,
Roar
should be
Media is
helping with that.
coordinate that.
Trying to pull in all those feeds. Yep.
Yeah, they made that slideshow that you just played there. So thank you to them for that. They've been helping out a lot with some of the tech stuff, in particular the live streaming stuff. That's not my thing. I'm not a tech person. So Roar Media is kind of heading up that effort. So there will be live streaming. I just don't have details and specific as to where it will be live streamed to as of yet. But I think multiple platforms. I think Action for Assange will do it for sure. I could probably get Nico to let me run it on MCSC. I can run it on the Facts on the Ground channel. We don't really have a show anymore, but I can use that as a way to live stream. We want to get it on as many channels and platforms as possible so that we can get as many eyes on it as possible. I mean, y'all, you're gonna want to see these speeches.
It's gonna be good.
That's some good people.
I think I tried to plan on getting that on INN too. So you know, all that. Oz has a link. Oz has Russian link.
Yeah, you guys can throw it on INN. I mean, I'm up for if RBN wants to run it, I would love that. If Hardlens wants to run it, I would. Anybody that wants to run it, as long as that's possible, as long as Oz can make that happen. I don't care who wants to run. I don't care. If you want to have that run on your channel, let me know. We'll see if we can make that happen. Because again, I would just like to have it on as many channels and platforms as possible. So if you're interested in running the rally on Saturday, October 8th on your channel, let me know and we will try to hook that up.
Yep. Speaking of which, it costs fucking money to do this shit, y'all. So, you know,
it does.
In the description below, there's a GoFundMe that you should go check out. And, you know, put in at least like 50 cents, something, you know?
I mean, I get it. Like, I hate raising money. I'm a terrible fundraiser. I don't like asking people for money. It is like the worst. And I'm bad at it. But unfortunately, as Reef said, this shit is not free. Unfortunately, it's unbelievably expensive. I really wish that one of these days I'm going to sit down and like make like a write-up of all of the money out of pocket I've spent so that y'all can see legitimately how bad it is. Because it's a lot of fucking money. It's not, I mean, getting flyers printed up and getting, renting a sound system, making sure that we have cameras there, making sure that we have stuff to hand out or programs printed or that we can do advertising or whatever. We're very fortunate that Ben Cohen of Ben and Jerry's is currently Randy Credico, my dear friend, has been doing an unbelievable run, an 8-week run. He's been in DC for 8 weeks now with the billboard truck, 8 weeks straight. And for like the first 5 weeks, Randy was trying to just fundraise it on his own, which he was able to do. And then also Randy has also paid a lot of money out of pocket. But then Ben Cohen stepped in and said that he would match any and all donations. So even if you donate to that that's helpful for my event as well, because I think starting, it might be up there now, but they're going to start running 2 trucks, and they're going to have the flyer on the side of one of the trucks for the event. So that's great advertising in the local area for the event. But yeah, this shit is so expensive, you guys. It sucks. Traveling to DC. It's a 6.5 hour drive for me. So the gas for that, and, you know, an Airbnb and food and all of that stuff. It all adds up really rather quickly. So yeah, if you can't donate, I get it, y'all. Everybody's in kind of a tight spot right now, but even just sharing the GoFundMe, to get more people they know of, so then more people can see it. And if somebody does happen to have $5 that they can spare, that's really helpful. So, even just sharing it is, very much appreciated.
Yeah.
Seriously. Or even just sharing the flyer, helping us get the word out. As I'm sure everybody can imagine, everything Assange is heavily shadow banned and screwed with by the algorithms and all of that stuff. So, just getting it out there is really half the battle too.
Yeah,
it sucks.
I agree. Those are easy RTs for me. It's just click the little green button. Just do that. Yeah. Collin, anything you got to add? I think that's just about it. What do we got? What do we got coming up for you? Anything?
So I'm gonna be on Joy tonight, Savage Joy. It's cool enough to have me on tonight. Let's see, what's today? Tomorrow. Today's Wednesday, right?
Yes.
Okay. So tomorrow I am going to be on podcast with George, who's great. I love him. So I'll tweet the link out for that tonight as well. Friday I'm going to be on with Steph, on the Jimmy Dore show. So after Jimmy does his stuff and he leaves, she's going to have me on. So we're going to, us girls are going to have a chitter chatter, about the Assange event. And I love her. She's the best. So yeah, I'm really excited to be able to chat with her. If anybody else wants to hype the event.
Oh, bitches.
I love that.
Mm-hmm.
But if anybody else, listen, if you have a show, you don't have to have me on. That's not a requirement. There are plenty of people who have shows that do not like me. I get it. But if you hype the event, if you see somebody hype the event, I don't care who it is, please let me know. I don't have time to watch everybody's shows. But I would like to personally thank anybody that does us that favor. So if you see somebody that, even if they just show the flyer and mention the event or whatever, please let me know. I would love to retweet that, and thank them personally for doing that. I don't care who it is. If I beef with them, I don't give a shit. So yeah, you don't have to have me on. Just if you show the flyer, talk about the event briefly, mention the amazing speakers that we have, that would be an amazing solid to do for us. As an organizing crew, because again, it's not just me. Seriously, y'all, there are so many great people working on this. Both of the New York crews are working on it. The newly formed DC crew has been heavily involved. The Boston crew, Assange Defense has been very helpful. Ben Cohen is starting to help with branding. So yeah, we're really trying to make this a hugely successful event. It needs to be. Julian is not doing great, and is a hair's breadth away from being extradited. So it really is crunch time. A man's life literally hangs in the balance, not to mention the future of press freedom and free speech. So we are trying really hard. We didn't have a ton of time. We only had, maybe a month or 5 weeks or so ish to put this together. I think we have managed to get a really amazing event put together in a limited amount of time. So however you can help us, everybody watching, make us a bigger success, whether it's sharing the flyer, donating to the GoFundMe. If you're in the DC area and you can help Randy, he's out there flyering. Afeni, shout out to Afeni. Afeni went out there with Randy today and helped hand out flyers. Nick Brana of the People's Party is going to go out Monday and help hand out flyers. So if you're in the DC area, or you can get to the DC area and you can go and help, hang up flyers, hand out flyers, whatever, that would also be helpful. Lots of things people can do to help us out, and we would appreciate it. Please and thank you.
You're doing when are you going on with staff? Friday, and
yeah,
that's just...
I think it's 6:30 Eastern ish. It's okay. That's an ish time. It's just really whenever he wraps up his stuff.
Yeah, and then she does and then Fancy Vagina Fridays, I think, right?
Yeah, I'm excited.
So
it's my very first Fancy Vagina Fridays.
It's gonna be a good time. Nice.
I know. I'm pumped. I mean, should I dress up for Fancy Vagina Fridays? I feel like I should.
I mean, I mean, if you
Or
have a
just
shirt that
dress up my
says
vagina?
like one of those, like
Bedazzle.
wouldn't it be vajazzle though? That would
Oh yeah, I think so. Actually, I think you're
perfect.
right.
Totally.
So yeah, I think that's just normal show. So what is that? YouTube.com/Jimmy Dore Show, something like that.
Yeah, Jade. I know you wish you could teleport. Y'all, I should mention that. I mean, I kind of did, but there are other events happening in the States. San Francisco, Tulsa, I think Vegas is doing one. Boston will probably put something together. There are other people doing stuff. So go to Candles for Assange, the number 4. That's my friend Alex Hills. She is an amazing activist out of New Zealand who does a great job of kind of collecting all of the global events and then tweeting them out from one space. So you can go to her Twitter feed. She's got a thread running that has all of and she updates it every time that there's a new one that's announced. If there is not an event near you, be an event near you. Literally all it takes is a poster board, a Sharpie, and a sidewalk. That's it. That's all you need. So yeah, and we will help you if you want help getting something put together. It's a little last minute, but I'll help you however I can. But yeah, you can go to Candles for Assange and find other events if you can't make it to DC.
Perfect. Last thing for us, just follow all the Indie News members. You can find them all at indienews.network. Right down there, you'll see it scrolling past. You'll also see that in description, as well as links to co-host Collin here. But otherwise you'll find everyone else's information and all the ways to follow the network itself at that indienews.network, as well as if you want to buy like t-shirts and whatnot, you can go to indienews.shop.
I have one.
Yeah, she gets every t-shirt. She's great.
It's a
perfect. It's a problem. Like one of these days we're gonna see her on like TLC, just covered in shirts. Help!
I need an intervention. I joke, but it's legit. I might need it. I have a lot of shirts.
My strange addiction is just t-shirts. Yeah. That's great.
I mean, listen, there are worse things I could be addicted to.
Yes, very much so. But anyway, I think that's it for us this evening.
Thanks, guys.
As always,
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
As always, labels are bad. Stay independent, people. Good night, friends.
Good night. Stay